Right now, a massive wildfire is tearing through the city of Spokane, Washington, and thousands of families are fleeing. The Old Trails fire has burned more than 3,500 acres, jumped the Spokane River, and pushed into residential neighborhoods. Up to 5,000 structures are threatened, dozens of homes have been destroyed, and more than 40,000 customers have lost power. Yesterday, the National Weather Service issued a warning for eastern Washington that had never been issued in this state before. A particularly dangerous situation red flag warning, the single highest tier of fire weather risk the NWS tracks. So let's get right into it, because if you are anywhere in the Spokane metro area, you need this information right now. Here is everything confirmed by officials as of this morning, the 2nd of August, 2026. Let's dive in. First, the weather setup that made this fire possible, because this did not happen by accident. A powerful cold front swept through the inland northwest on Saturday, August 1st, bringing historically dangerous conditions. Wind gusts reached 35 to 45 miles per hour across the Spokane area, confirmed by multiple official sources and NIFC. Relative humidity dropped to single digits across eastern Washington, dry enough to turn grass into instant fuel. Washington is currently in its 4th consecutive statewide drought, according to the governor's office. Vegetation across the region was critically dry going into Saturday, primed to burn under any fire weather event. Now, here is what made Saturday truly historic. The National Weather Service issued something it had never issued here before. A particularly dangerous situation, red flag warning, or PDS, across central and eastern Washington ahead of the cold front. A standard red flag warning means dangerous fire weather is expected, high winds, low humidity, potential for fast spread. A PDS is reserved for only the most extreme setups, conditions so severe that any new fire could grow explosively and out of control. PDS conditions can also ground firefighting aircraft. The same winds driving the fire can make aerial suppression impossible. Washington State had never received this designation before Saturday. That is how unusual and dangerous these conditions were. In response to the forecast, Governor Bob Ferguson declared a statewide emergency and burn ban before the fire ever started. The Washington National Guard was also mobilized ahead of time, a decision that positioned resources before the crisis hit. All right, now let's talk about the Old Trails fire itself. What happened? Where is it now? And what does that mean for you? The fire ignited just before noon on Saturday, August 1st, near Old Trails Road and West Euclid Road, west of Spokane. The cause of the fire is currently under investigation. No official determination has been made as of this morning. The fire started in open brush and grass. Then those 5 to 5 mile per hour winds drove it rapidly northeast toward neighborhoods. It grew from roughly 50 acres to over 2,000 acres in a matter of hours. That rate of spread is extreme by any measure. Observers on the ground reported the fire-making crown runs flames racing through treetops rather than crawling on the ground. Crown runs allow a fire to outpace containment efforts and cross natural barriers that would stop a slower-moving surface fire. That is exactly how the fire crossed the Spokane River and pushed into Riverside State Park and Northwest Spokane neighborhoods. By 8:20 p.m. Saturday, the National Interagency Fire Center confirmed the fire had reached 3,509 acres. As of the DNR's update early this morning, the fire sits at approximately 3,500 acres with no containment reported yet. The full extent of structural damage is not yet known, but the spokesman review confirmed dozens of homes were destroyed. Walls of flames moved through the Indian Trail neighborhood, with explosions heard as structures and trees caught fire. Officials at Saturday night's press conference said clearly they could not yet confirm the number of structures lost. Major General Gent Welsh of the Washington National Guard said these are the worst fire conditions he has seen in 38 years. As of Saturday evening, officials reported no confirmed injuries or fatalities. We will update that if it changes. Now let's talk about evacuation orders, because this is the most critical information if you are in the Spokane area. Spokane County issued Level 3 go-now evacuation orders for large portions of North and Northwest Spokane. Level 3 is the highest evacuation level. It means leave immediately due to life-threatening conditions in your area. The initial Level 3 zone covered areas from west of Division Street and north of Francis Avenue within Spokane city limits. Orders continued to expand through the afternoon and evening, stretching north toward Rudder Road and west to the Spokane River. Many areas in northern Spokane County remained under level 3 orders as of 12:20 a.m. Sunday. This is still an active emergency. If you are unsure whether your address is affected, do not guess check the official Spokane County evacuation map right now. Zone boundaries are drawn street by street and have been changing rapidly. The map is the only source you should trust for your address. One of the most significant evacuation events was at the Mann Grandstaff VA Medical Center in northwest Spokane. Patients and staff were evacuated from that facility as the fire advanced a major operation under active fire conditions. 2 evacuation shelters have been opened for displaced residents and are currently accepting people. The first is at Spokane Falls Community College, located at 3410 West Wistox Way, in the small gym. The American Red Cross opened a second shelter Saturday evening at the Spokane Convention Center, 334 West Spokane Falls Boulevard. Both shelters have food, cots, and supplies for urgent needs. Bring medications, documents, and comfort items if you can. For those evacuating with animals, a livestock and pet shelter has been set up at the Spokane County Fairgrounds. If you are under a level 2 order right now, get ready to leave before it becomes level 3, and do not wait. In a wind-driven fire moving this fast, a level 3 notification can arrive with almost no lead time ahead of the flames. And listen, do not drive toward the fire to see how close it is, because you will block roads that evacuees and crews urgently need. Now let's cover the power situation, because this is affecting a very large number of people across the Spokane region. As of Saturday evening, more than 40,000 customers were without power across the Spokane area, according to KHQ and KXLY. There are 2 separate causes for these outages, and it is important to understand the difference between them. First, Avista Utilities implemented what is called a Public Safety Power Shutoff, or PSPS, as a planned precaution. A PSPS is a deliberate, controlled cutoff to prevent energized power lines from sparking new fires during extreme wind events. This covered parts of North Spokane, the Indian Trail area, 5 Mile, 9 Mile Falls, Mead, South Hill, and other areas. Second, the fire itself burned into portions of Avista's electrical system, causing additional unplanned outages. Avista confirmed the fire did not originate from their infrastructure, but it has physically burned through parts of the grid. Inland Power and Light also reported significant outages in the area, separate from the Avista outages. Power restoration will not begin until crews can safely enter affected areas. There is no estimated restoration time. If you have lost power, plan for an extended outage and check on neighbors who may need help with medications or mobility. Now let's look at the broader emergency response, because the scale of this operation is significant. Governor Ferguson declared a statewide emergency Saturday morning ahead of the fire in response to the PDS forecast. A statewide burn ban was simultaneously issued, no open burning anywhere in Washington state through September 30th. Washington State Patrol authorized state fire mobilization within roughly 90 minutes of the fire's ignition Saturday. 5 strike teams were deployed to reinforce local crews from Spokane County Fire Districts 9 and 10. The Washington National Guard activated 2 units, approximately 30 personnel responding to the Spokane area starting Saturday night. Out-of-state crews from California also arrived to assist, confirmed by Spokane city officials Saturday afternoon. Statewide, approximately 4,000 firefighters are now engaged across more than a dozen active fires in Washington. Fixed-wing aircraft and at least 1 helicopter were assigned to the Old Trails fire to slow its spread from the air. Officials warned that aircraft effectiveness was limited by the same high winds that were driving the fire's spread. Very large air tankers, VLATs, were also requested as the fire was throwing spot fires ahead of its main front. The State Emergency Operations Center at Camp Murray was activated at level 2 to coordinate statewide assistance. Washington also authorized the use of the Emergency Management Assistance Compact to request resources from other states. Now I want to zoom out, because the Old Trails fire is the largest but not the only major fire burning in this region. As of Saturday evening, wildfires were actively burning across more than 250,000 acres statewide in over a dozen large incidents. Washington's 2026 season total is approaching 425,000 acres, burned the most since 2021, per the Department of Natural Resources. Commissioner of Public Lands Dave Upthegrove said Saturday, this is already one of the busiest wildfire years on record. Multiple other fires broke out in the Spokane area on the same Saturday afternoon, stretching local resources to the limit. The Autumn Lane fire ignited northwest of the Old Trails fire around 4 p.m. Saturday, burning approximately 792 acres. The Fairview fire sparked in the Meade area around 2:20 p.m. Saturday and grew to approximately 979 acres. The Spokane complex, a new incident was reported overnight into Sunday at 5,390 acres with 0% containment. Across eastern Washington, the Kaiser Canyon fire near Cooley Dam has now burned 134,167 acres and is 38% contained. That fire started by lightning on July 16th near Nespelem and has more than 1,150 personnel assigned to it. Having multiple large fires burning simultaneously means aircraft, crews, and equipment are shared across many active fronts. That is why response times and aerial resources may be stretched beyond what a single fire event would normally require. Now, let's talk about air quality because you do not need to be inside an evacuation zone to be affected by this fire. Wildfire smoke from a fire this size travels far beyond the fire perimeter, carried by wind across a wide area. Air quality across Spokane and surrounding communities is significantly degraded and is expected to remain poor today. If you have asthma, heart disease, or any respiratory condition, stay indoors, keep windows closed, and limit exposure. Use air purifiers if you have them, and check airnow.gov for real-time air quality at your specific location. Even areas well outside Spokane County can experience unhealthy air quality from the smoke drifting downwind today. All right, let's look at the forecast going forward because the weather pattern over eastern Washington is still concerning. The PDS red flag conditions that drove Saturday's explosive growth have eased somewhat as of this morning. Wind speeds are lower today than Saturday's peak. That is generally better for firefighting operations on the ground. However, there is no significant rainfall in the extended forecast for Spokane County or the surrounding inland Northwest. That means no natural relief is coming for the dry fuel conditions that are making every new ignition so dangerous. The underlying fire weather pattern, drought, heat, and dry vegetation has not changed and will not change quickly. Any new fire ignition in eastern Washington over the coming days carries serious potential for rapid, dangerous spread. The statewide burn ban through September 30th is in effect for this exact reason. Please respect it completely. This is an active, developing emergency. The situation on the ground in Spokane is still evolving as of this broadcast. We will be publishing daily updates on this channel for as long as the Old Trails fire and Spokane area fires remain active. If you are not subscribed, please subscribe now and turn on notifications so you get those updates as soon as they post. If this video helped you understand what is happening, like it, so that more people in the region can find this information. To everyone in Spokane and across eastern Washington who has been displaced, who has lost property, who is frightened right now, you are not alone, because first responders, National Guard, and crews from across the country are there working for you. I'll see you in the next one. Stay safe out there.